The Chiefs defense is making hits, and not all of them are during the plays. What's going on at camp as they get ready for pads today on Locked On Chiefs?
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Welcome in, everybody. We're brought to you by Gametime. You can get that by downloading the app, creating your account using our code LOCKEDONNFL. You're going to get $20 off of your first purchase on tickets right there. Terms do apply. Check out Gametime. Gametime is coming. Tomorrow's a rest day, but we have a lot of updates from what went on at Chiefs camp, getting ready for the next practice that will have pads. This is Chris Clark from Chiefs Corner, running down the quarterbacks, everything you need to know about what's going on in the NFL. And I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of Rogue Analytics and Performance Consulting, as well as NFL 33, where we just dropped the games you have to see in the third quarter of the NFL season. So check that out on NFL 33 and get with RGR Football, where I am breaking everything down this week. And I think you'll enjoy some of that. This is going to be fun because right now, just like we do every single day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, we're going to break down all the things that happen that are important. There's other things, but we're going to hit the big ones for you right now and give you the news that you need to know. You can get that every single day for free here on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on any platform that you like to get audio on. We're free and available 5 days a week, plus everywhere. We're also running our Locos Insider text line at 816-357-8781. And that's where our everyday listeners get in and get that information as soon as it happens. So make sure you go subscribe to that as well. Thanks for making us your first listen. Check out another Locked On show for your next one. The next thing for us is going to be what the opposite is. What does Hollywood Brown bring to the table, and how does he see the evolution of him being the new guy in the offense? That's coming up later in the show. Had a couple of injuries we're going to go over and what they mean to the offense and defense respectively, because there was a little bit on both sides. But we start today by what is, I think, perfect timing for the defense to kind of grow an attitude, right? Us, CBS, ESPN, everybody under the sun has been ranting and raving about Patrick Mahomes throwing deep, Xavier, Hollywood, Rasheed. Everything's been
Wiley.
Offense this whole camp so far. Yeah, Wiley today. Yeah, nice one-handed grab. Kudos to him. But that's all that I've been trying to talk defense on RGR because nobody else is willing to talk about defense right now. And I think the team's a bit tired of it because today there was multiple scraps. George Karlaftis, Kadarius Toney got into it. Toney hitting the ground a little bit, which I was glad to see that he popped up because you got to prove that to me. But at this point, I think they're ready. How do you take the tone? True. Yeah, gave it a good fling. At this point, how do you feel about where they're at mentally?
I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before we came on the air. They're just getting testy. You're basically fighting. Fighting's not the right word, but you're hand fighting with a lot of these guys. I mean, you're pushing guys around. You're getting pushed around. I mean, it is just going to be one of those things where you're used to hitting people and you're not getting ready to hit people. If you go back and look at the past couple of camps, this is happening. This happens every single camp where they start to get testy right before the pads come on because people are tired of just, pushing or getting pushed or accidentally getting hit to the ground, or maybe it wasn't an accidental hit to the ground or whatever. They're just tired of it. They're football players. They want to go hit. And that makes a lot of sense for what we're seeing right now. And, Travis Kelce was involved as well. He stood up for Toney, and, kudos to him for doing that. It doesn't bother me at all. These guys know what's going on. They have the leadership on the team. These guys understand that it's going to happen at this time of year. They're not going to care. This is not going to be a story in 6 or in 3 months. They're going to be as close as they've ever been just because that's how this roster is built. So this is just them taking out a little bit of extra energy that they have, that they're going to have ready for Friday when the pads come on. And I'm really looking forward to being able to see it live.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you take away that most folks are not going to notice. So, folks, make sure you're tuned in here and you're on that text line if you want the updates from Chris while he's at camp this weekend. I also want to say that this is part of the process. I like that the defense has, I think, especially after last season, bowed up a little bit. You know what? We're not just an offensive team anymore. We're contributing to these wins and these championships as well. And there's something to be said about this point in practice before pads are on, and that does happen the next practice, folks, to be like, you know what, you got to earn some of this. We're not just letting you walk through hand tackles anymore and giving you a little pat on the back because you're the offense that runs from Patrick Mahomes. We're going to make you earn it some. They say steel on steel. This isn't that kind of practice, but it's leading up to it. It's making the offense earn it a little bit more.
Yeah, you have to have pride in what you do, and that's exactly what's going on right now. Is these guys have pride in what they do as a unit, and they should. I mean, they were a great defense last year, and they've got everybody back except for Snead. And don't get me wrong, Snead's a loss, but they should have pride in what they're able to do, and they should be a little pissed off about how things have gone so far. And the other side of it for the defense is it makes it a lot easier on the offense when you can't hit them, and I mean, that's kind of how the NFL has gone the past several years. Is you go back and look at how things were 10, 15 years ago. There's a lot more hitting 10, 15 years ago. I'm not saying that there isn't hitting today, but it's a different type of hitting, and they have taken so many things out of the game that used to be there. And I'm not saying that we have to go back to it, but there is a little bit of not a little bit. There's a lot more emphasis on offense and being able to score points and being able to put points up on the board. And it makes it so much harder for the defense. So you're in a situation where you can't do anything, and you can't even do what you've been able to do, because you don't have pads on at this point. You don't want to injure somebody, which is the real big thing that is something that you always look at in these camps is when you start seeing those guys start going at it, they're not trying to injure each other. They're getting frustrated and they're getting pissed off, and that's expected to happen. But this team doesn't seem to take it too far. They may get in each other's face. They may even throw a hook or, push or whatever, but it's all part of just having, playing football and getting after it. So to me, this is just the feistiness right before the pads come on, and that extra energy is definitely going to be there on Friday. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. A couple of guys may or may not be able to go on Friday. Coming up next, Justin Watson, Nazy Johnson injured on Wednesday. What do they mean, and who reaps the benefits of added reps? Coming up next on the Lockdown Podcast Network. Summer's in full swing, and we're getting ready for football season. It doesn't matter whether you're trying to go to MLB right now and go see the Royals, or you're waiting on your preseason tickets, your Chiefs tickets for the regular season, or even those cold, snowy days. The best way to get it done is Game Time. It helps if you can plan. I fully admit that, but sometimes you just can't. And so last-minute deals are exactly what you're looking for, whether it's the section of the stadium that you want, whether it's the seat exactly that you want, or whether you're just looking for that last-minute super saver. You can save up to 60% on tickets. Last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, anything at Game Time. This is really important. I sit in one section of Arrowhead, and I really love it. It's a zone deal. And when that comes up, I try to go all in because they give you all in pricing with no hidden fees. It takes the guesswork out of getting tickets for Arrowhead, but for baseball as well. You can get it all at Game Time. So download the Game Time app, create your account, and use our code LOCKEDONNFL. You're going to get $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply, but it's super simple. Create an account, use our code LOCKEDONNFL, and you're going to get $20 off of your first ticket purchase. So download it today. It's last-minute tickets. It's lowest prices, and they are always guaranteed. It's also guaranteed that 24/7, you're going to see a Locked On Sports show on Locked On Sports Today, the 24/7 channel that takes all the drama out and just gives you the information on the teams that you're looking for. Check it out here on YouTube and on Amazon Fire TV. Fire's what sometimes leads to some injuries, and that happened today. A couple out there that are fairly key. Justin Watson, let's start with him because I've seen the play, and it just looks like he comes down. The ankle gives out a little bit. I'm guessing it's a lower leg injury. We'll see what the actual prognosis is. Could be a high ankle sprain is unfortunately what it looks like to me, but we'll find out. I think the big thing is that he is a guy that gets a lot of reps. Is he a top 3 starter on this team? Not right now. Not with Rashee Rice seemingly available for the season. But he would be a prime guy that comes in to relieve any of the 3 dudes that will be starting. And I think that's a pretty significant loss that I am not confident there's somebody can step up and take that all on as a 1-for-1 replacement. How do you see it?
So I do think it was talked about after practice. It is an ankle injury from what I saw. I think Reed said it was an ankle injury after he talked. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be a 1-for-1 replacement, but to me, Justin Watson's been here long enough. He knows the offense. He has chemistry with Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't really need to build that. So as much as I hate injuries, obviously this time of year, as long as he's able to be back for the regular season, I don't think it's going to matter as much for him, but it could make somebody else make this team that maybe didn't have a chance. And I'm looking at Nico Remigio. I mean, that's the guy that stepped in and made multiple plays on Wednesday. And obviously we're still in shorts, and I get that. But if you continue to make plays, and the pads are about to come on Friday, so we'll see if he continues to make plays on Friday. Here's his chance. If he's getting in there with Patrick Mahomes in some of these scenarios, you have a chance to, push yourself onto the roster. The other guy that I think, and I'm not saying that I expect him to make it, but the other guy that I think could take advantage of some of these snaps if he gets them is Justin Ross. I mean, that's the other guy that you would look at that would say is maybe on the outside looking in right now. Anybody that moves up is going to take snaps with Mahomes, and if Mahomes uses them and they get going in the right direction, that's going to help their case for making the team. So we'll see. I agree with you. I don't think it's a 1-for-1, but I do think that they have. The nice thing is I think we looked at it last year thinking they had the depth, and we were wrong. I don't think that I don't feel that way this year. I mean, you look at Rashee Rice, obviously what he's able to do last year, and you add a guy like Worthy, you add a guy like Brown. Both those guys I think are going to be. I'm not going to say they're going to be both will be 1,000-yard receivers, but both have the potential to be 1,000-yard receivers with the Chiefs. I'm not going to say Worthy does this year, but I think he certainly could after this year, maybe even next year. So I do think that they have more talent at the wide receiver position and will be able to take up the slack a little bit, I guess I would say.
Well, let's hope that Worthy can. Given his fast start, he certainly looks like he's going to get some chunk plays that could add up pretty fast. Worthy missed for a third straight day, folks, thanks to his strep throat, trying to isolate from the team and keep everybody else healthy. So I don't think it's a physical condition other than he's sick. But man, I want to see him get something with the pads here on Friday. So let's hope that he's over it and he's back down. A lot going on there. Here's the key, though. I agree with you that Remigio should get the bulk of the step up, but this is also a situation where I don't see much progress from Sky Moore. I'm seeing more and more time being spent having to correct him, and that seems to be a problem. Kadarius, they're trying to run it running back as much because they don't have him either. So the guy for me that I think becomes the next go-to, if you're not looking at Remigio and you're trying to stabilize things, it's Mecole Hardman. Again, for the same knowledge base, you know what you're getting there. And there are worse things than having 3 sub 4-4 guys on the field at the same time. So there are pluses to that if Justin Watson has to miss some time.
Yeah, and I guess I don't disagree with you on that. I guess I'm looking at it from more of a perspective of Justin Watson is more of a bigger receiver for the Chiefs. Mecole Hardman's not going to fit that role, so it's a little bit different there. I understand where you're going with that, and that makes sense. So I do think that that's something that maybe Mecole's able to step in and take advantage, and regardless of what people think, I'm not going to call him a long shot, but he is on the bubble right now. I don't think he's guaranteed to be on this roster by any means, especially if Rice is able to play week 1.
That's going to be the challenge. Now, the other injury that happened is somebody that we've been planning on seeing a lot of action out of, and that's Nazy Johnson. The right knee, the one that had the ACL repair, was injured again today. He was taken off very, very late in practice, and I think we got an update after the fact, right?
Yeah, we did, from his own mom. So thank you, Mom, for updating us. It sounds like Nazy Johnson should be good. I'm not going to say that he's going to be there on Friday. He's going to be practicing. What I would expect, though, if he really is good, and this will be something I'll be watching for, is that he's at least on the field. Even if he's not practicing, if he's on the field, it means that he'll be back quickly or quicker than if he's not even on the field at all. So that's going to be something I'll be paying attention to on Friday when I'm there, and obviously Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when I'm there. But sounds like it's probably more precautionary, and I think somebody from the Star also said that as well, that he heard it was more precautionary than it was anything else. And like you said, it was at the end of practice, so it kind of makes sense. No reason to really push him out there. and risk another injury that close to the end of practice. But he did get playing time with the ones, I believe, today, as opposed to Joshua Williams. So that's something that was a little bit different as well.
And I understand that Jalen Watson is also out there working back towards, so could be a little bit of a mix up there. We'll see what happens on Friday. Hopefully he's able to go and pick up where he left off. Now, that's one thing. The guys that he's going to be battling is another. Who's ready to face that battle when the pads come on? I'm going to tell you right now, Hollywood Brown is. We're going to get to that coming up next. Passion, drive, patience. It brings the trophy home, and just like the Chiefs have, and it can also affect your main vehicle, your ride or die. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain that vehicle, give it its peak performance, as well as over-the-top superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED lights, everything to make it speedy, powerful, and stylish, all at eBay Motors, because they have you covered. Over 122 million parts for your or die, and you'll always find exactly what you're looking for, because eBay has a guaranteed fit. Your part will fit your ride every single time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're not burning cash. You're burning rubber. At least you're trying to. With all the parts that you need and the pieces that you want, it's easy to turn your car into an MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply. Guaranteed fit is available for U.S. customers only. Make sure, folks, that you check out everything Chris is doing over at kcchiefscorner.com. Get subscribed to his Substack. Check out mine at NFL 33, as well as RGR Football. One guy that seems very, very happy to be in Kansas City is Hollywood Brown. And unlike Jamar Chase, he's not afraid to say his name. Hollywood Brown enjoys playing with Patrick Mahomes, and he's really happy with the placement.
Yeah, sorry, I can't stop laughing on that. If you haven't seen it, go look. Jamar Chase will not say Patrick Mahomes' name when he's talking about the best player in football. He knows he's the best player, but he will not say his name, which is great. And side note, I do think Cincinnati is a rivalry with the Chiefs, which is going to be fun to continue over the next several years. But when you start looking at what Hollywood Brown is doing, he is becoming somebody that Mahomes trusts. And when you go back and you watch last year specifically, how many guys do you think Mahomes actually trusted on this roster? Kelce, Watson. I mean, I don't know. Noah Gray, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you can go that far, I would say.
True.
But wide receiver wise, I don't really think. Sorry, Rice. I guess I'll say that too. He trusted
Eventually.
Rice late in the season.
And he tried to trust MVS.
Yeah.
He tried.
He tried to trust Tony. He tried to trust Sky Moore. I mean, but my point is that when you look at what it looks like is happening right now, he's trusting Brown right now. He's trusting him to go make plays. And, you know, Andy Reid talks about it. Well, those plays were there, and this was a couple days ago. Andy Reid talked about those plays were there last year. Patrick just didn't take them. This is the time for him to try to take those plays and see what you can do. See if you can, you know, connect downfield, see how things are going to play out, and give your guy a chance to go make a play. And this is exactly what Mahomes is doing. This is, you know, I don't care about the picks that he's thrown, because this is when you want him, you know, trying to see where he can go and the different things he can do. And with Hollywood Brown, it's a matter of, okay, am I on the same page with this guy? Do I know his speed right? Do I know how he's, you know, are we getting to the point where I know how he's thinking, and I know where he's going to be where he needs to be? That's exactly what he needs to be working on right now, and it seems to be going very well on both both counts.
Yeah, agreed. And it helps prop up the offense, especially when you have a star in the making, Xavier Worthy, that can't be out there every day. You got to have, I think, one guy that gets it all the way around. And kudos to Hollywood for jumping into this team so wholeheartedly. A couple of takeaways for me on not only his words, but his demeanor. One of the things that I've had a problem with Hollywood over the years is that I didn't feel he was great through contact through the route. He looks noticeably now with the pads off that I got to see him today, noticeably bulked up through the shoulder and chest region so that he can sustain against a little bit more physicality, which in this particular division he's going to get. So that makes me feel like there's an uptick in the possibility that becomes a true go-to number one wide receiver. That is something that I don't think Patrick's had since Tyreek, and that's been maybe the biggest storyline that we're not talking about is, yes, it's great to have big plays from everyone. Is Rashee enough to become a number one, especially with the suspension looming and all that kind of stuff? Maybe not. But having three options, the guys who could grow into that role, is definitely a great place to be. And kudos for Brown for getting there right now as fast as he has.
Well, and he also said that one of the big things that he did when he got here was, he's a professional and he's going to dive into the playbook, and it's his responsibility to know what is going on in the playbook. And that seems like a no-brainer, and I will say that it really should be a no-brainer, but it hasn't been treated like a no-brainer by a lot of people in the past. And that is an issue with some players that are on this team right now, some wide receivers on this team that I'm not going to mention, that just don't know the playbook well enough. And that's a problem. And when you get to that point and you're trying to be successful, it doesn't matter how much talent you have. If you can't be in the right spot, you're not going to get the ball, and you're probably not going to get play time. So, for him to dive in and to really, to me, it goes beyond just diving in that sense. It's also the fact that he's willing to take people under his wing and show them how to do things right. And that's exactly what I think he's doing with Worthy. And that's exactly what you want him to do. Whether or not Hollywood Brown is in Kansas City in 2025, we have no idea right now. But if he has the kind of year that it looks like he could have, I don't know. I don't know if Kansas City can afford him, to be quite honest. He looks like he could be having a monster year for the Chiefs. I mean, think about it. If he gets to a point where he matches Kelce's targets, which I'm not saying will happen, but could happen, that's a pretty significant year.
Yeah,
and easily over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, and it becomes unrecoupable pretty quickly. But hey, what crazier things have happened? I think at the end of the day, it's about putting guys in the right places. Brown's very happy with that, and to hear him at this point, just after a few days, be at that place already, like that tells me that it's through the hump of what I expected to be another week maybe before the comfort was completely there at the playbook and being able to be that go-to guy. So keep an eye on him. I know Chris will while he's at camp on Friday. You guys tell us what you think as well.
Yeah, and I know we're talking about Hollywood, but I also have to say, if you haven't, you need to go find Wiley's catch from today. That was a fantastic catch. And he is continuing to start showing up. And if that continues, this is going to be a really fun offense, because then you get to a point where you have Brown and Rice and Kelce and Wiley, and then whoever else is able to step in and show out is going to be a lot of fun. And they're going to have a lot of talent on offense that they haven't had in years.
I agree completely. Let's see what happens, folks. The day off tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to break it down for you a little bit deeper on what we'd like to see when the pads come on and what to expect. Be with us after we recap and give you some updates after pads are there. What do you got?
I was just going to say, let me know. Send some messages on YouTube, send some messages on Twitter, or if you're on the text line, let me know what you want to see. I'll be watching lots of different things on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. More than happy to, watch different things for different people. So let's hear what you want to see and let's make it happen. Cannot wait to be at camp. It's been a couple of years now.
You guys go ahead and go by and say hi to Chris. You won't miss him. He's about 8 feet tall. He'll be in red of some kind, so you'll be able to find him. Size 14 shoe, I believe, so he stands out.
15.
Did I have that right? 15. Oh,
15.
Sorry. Excuse me. Me and my Wii 11s will be over here. Hey, everybody, have a great time. It's a day off for Thursday. Get recouped so you can get out there Friday and enjoy yourselves. We appreciate you being with us. Make sure that you like and you sub and you get on this platform, on the Spotify platform, on Apple Podcasts, everywhere. Check out your next Locked On show. Maybe you want to know what's going on Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. Sometimes I like to pay attention to the teams the Chiefs have to play, so that's probably a good place to start as well. And make sure that you are ready for padded practices and everything that comes with it. And Chris's reports from St. Joe coming up this weekend. Make sure you're with us. Thanks for being here tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.